Good morning. I'm Denise Torres, Chair of the New Mexico Judicial Performance Evaluation Commission, also known as JPEC, JPEC. I would like to welcome everyone to the release of our 2020 evaluations. This year, due to COVID-19, we are having a virtual news conference for everyone's safety. First, I'd like to thank the New Mexico State Legislature, which provides funding for JPEC to allow us to make these recommendations to voters and to get the word out through activities such as today's news conference. Our commission is made up of 7 lawyers and 8 non-lawyers. And Patty, could you put up the slide of our
I'll ask Dana
members?
to share the member. Dana, would you share the member slide? There you go.
So the commission is made up of 7 lawyers and 8 non-lawyers from throughout New Mexico. Our members are appointed to represent various professions, backgrounds, and geographical areas of the state. Each member goes through an approval process and agrees to donate a significant amount of time in service on the commission. Today's press conference is presented with the assistance of our Vice Chair, retired trial judge, Judge James Hall. I believe he's been on the commission since 2010. And while you can see most of our members are with us via Zoom, I thought you should get to know them a little better. So we have Michael Odegon of Las Vegas. He's a trial lawyer and has been on the commission since 2013. Karen Cortesi of Fort Sumner. She's an actively involved in her family business, and she's the only member that's been on this commission longer than I have. She's been on since 2008. I came on in 2009. Many of you may know Nate Gentry of Albuquerque. He's a former member of the New Mexico House of Representatives, and he served from 11 to 18. He also served as the minority and majority house leader. He's in private practice here in Albuquerque now. Amber Hamilton of Portales. She's the Roosevelt County Manager and Chair of New Mexico County Managers Affiliate. She's been a member since 19. Laura Howell of Silver City. She is a visual communicator for Western New Mexico University and has been a member since 2013. Lee Hunt of Santa Fe is a trial lawyer and been a member since 2018. Patricia Quintana of Taos. She is a government relations consultant and a sheep producer and been on since 14. Richard Reese is a small business owner, member since 14. Linda Rogers of Farmington is the CFO for Process Equipment Services and Company and has been a member since 17. Anita Sanchez of Rio Rancho, she's another trial lawyer and been on since 15. Scott Sandland, who some of the reporters may know, she wrote about state and federal courts for 27 years for the Albuquerque Journal. Jeannie Watson.
Can I interrupt just a minute, Denise?
Sure.
Can you ask everybody to mute? Because we're hearing
Sure.
some background noise from folks. So if you could ask everybody to
mute, that would be helpful. So I'll say that again. Jeannie Watson of Carlsbad is a real estate developer. She's been on since 2020. She's one of our newest member, and our last member, Frank Wilson of Alamogordo, who's a retired trial judge, and he's been on since 2020 this year. We also have Brian Sandroff and Brad Morrison, an important part of the team. They're from research and polling. And now I will ask Judge Hall to please explain a little bit more about what JPEC is.
Thank you very much, Denise. This will be the 12th year or 12th election in which JPEC is releasing our evaluations of judges who are standing for retention. JPEC was established as a volunteer commission by the Supreme Court for 2 purposes. One is to improve the performance of New Mexico judges, and the second is to provide useful, credible information to New Mexico voters on all justices and judges standing for retention in retention elections. We help judges improve their performance by conducting a confidential evaluation midway through their term of office. At that time, we put together an interim evaluation report that identifies strengths, weaknesses, if any, and a plan for improvement if needed. JPEC follows up with the judges on their plans, requesting information about specific actions they have taken to improve their performance. Before a general election, as is now the case, we again evaluate judges who are standing for retention and who have served in their current position on the bench for at least 2 years. This time is necessary in order for us to provide a meaningful and accurate evaluation and to inform voters for their use in reaching their decisions. These judges must receive 57% voter approval to remain on the bench. JPEC does not evaluate judges who are running in partisan elections. Our evaluations are based on a judge's overall performance in 4 areas: legal ability, fairness, communication skills, preparation, attentiveness, temperament, and control over the proceedings. JPEC relies on a wide variety of information to evaluate judges. Confidential surveys are distributed to people who have regular contact with the judges. JPEC also receives statistics from the Administrative Office of the Court.
Judge, hold on a second.
And I'm going to ask everybody to mute their microphone, please. I'm getting a little background noise here.
There's someone you can still hear him, Judge.
Yeah. I'll ask once again, if your microphone's open, please mute it. That would help. Thank you. So again, we rely on a wide variety of information, confidential surveys, statistics from the Administrative Office of the Courts. That includes information regarding caseloads, excusals, and the time it takes for individual cases to get resolved. Sometimes we send court observers to individual courts to personally observe and comment on the judge's actions in court. And each judge participates in at least one personal interview with JPEC to go over the survey results and our recommendation to the voters. If appropriate, the judges also discuss what steps they have taken to improve their performance and whether they are committed to continuing to work on improvements in areas of weakness identified during the confidential midterm survey. And once we're done, we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have regarding the process we go through to evaluate judges. So now I'd like to call on Patty Watson of CWA Strategic Communications, who is our communications contractor, to explain how we are presenting our evaluations to voters this year.
Thank you, Judge Hall. I'm going to share this screen. Hold on, if I can. Okay, let me try. Let me just do this. Bring it up. Dana, can you share the website for me, please? Dana? Let me try again. Let me try this. I'll try my other browser. This ought to work. Okay. Okay. See if that'll share, if I can share it over here. Dana, can you share that screen, please? Or let me see if this will, oh, there it is. Okay, here we've got it. Okay, so we have a comprehensive website that pretty much houses all of the information that we offer. You can search for evaluations on a judge a couple of ways. You can go to you can search by your zip code. So for example, if I lived in Santa Fe, okay. Let me see. 87, okay. Could we do 504, Dana, please? Could we do 87504? That's Santa Fe. So if I lived in Santa Fe, for example, you would see I can vote on a Supreme Court justice, Court of Appeals judge, and the district court judges who are running in the 1st district. There aren't any metropolitan court judges running this year. Also, if you want to search on a particular judge and find out if that judge has run or has been evaluated before, you can type in their last name. How about typing in Ellington, E-L-L-I-N-G-T-O-N? And that's a judge who's, again, running it this year in the 1st Judicial District, and he was evaluated in 2014. So you can get a history on the judges, if you would like. Now let's go to Judge Nakamura's evaluation. You can go back home and just type evaluations, and you'll see a full list for 2020. And since she's at the top, we'll go ahead and click on her name. And this shows the entire evaluation. It shows the recommendation at the top, a narrative on the evaluation, and we encourage everybody to read the narratives because they have information over and above what are included in the statistical charts. There's also experience on her education, and there's also experience in education. And then if you go down, you'll see the various groups that were surveyed that Judge Hall referred to. In this case, there were attorneys, there were court staff, appellate judges, other judges on the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals, and district judges. And each chart shows the questions they were asked and the responses. Then following those charts, we have summary results for the attorneys, the court staff, the appellate judges, and the district judges on whether or not to retain each judge. So if you're someone who likes lots of information, you can read all the charts. If you want to just get to the bottom line, we have the summary charts. So the information is viewable on a computer, a tablet, or a phone. And then in addition, to make it easier for people to remember the evaluations or to just get a summary, they can go all the way down on the home page and click on a printable voting guide. Dana, would you print on one for the 1st Judicial District? Click on that one. And you can see this is just a summary of those bottom charts on the website about whether or not to retain the judge. So this is an easy way if you want to keep everything straight when you're actually voting. In addition to there are 13 different versions for each of the voters guide for each judicial district. In addition, individuals who do not have access to a computer can call the toll-free number at the top of the website, and we will mail the information to them. And then also, everything we've got is available in Spanish. I don't know if you can just click on the Spanish language flag, which is right there. And the evaluations and information will come up in Spanish. In addition, we do have social media. We have a Facebook page, which you can get to. There it goes. Yeah. And we also have a Twitter feed. So we'll be putting information out on both those social media platforms throughout the election season. We'll be using traditional and social media to keep voters updated and engaged between now and the upcoming election. Our goal is to encourage everyone to vote in all elections which they are eligible to vote in. And now I'd like to turn the program back to Denise for the release of this year's evaluations.
Thank you, Patty. Over the 12 elections in which we have evaluated judicial performance, we have continued to see improvement. Judges know they are being held accountable, and our experience has been that most judges continually strive to improve their performance on the bench. They're open to our suggestions and feedback from those who utilize their courtrooms on how they can improve. However, this is not always true. We continue to note that some judges do not score well with the groups we survey, do not improve their scores, do not show commitment to improve their performance, and do not take steps to do so. That's when we issue a do not retain recommendation. This year, we have one statewide recommendation, and that is to retain Justice Judith Nakamura from the Supreme Court of New Mexico. Justice Nakamura, I first met her whenever she was serving on the Metropolitan Court, and she was there for 11 years. Every year that we sat down and spoke with the judges on how to improve JPEC, Justice Nakamura, Judge Nakamura at the time, was first in line. And so she can take some credit for what we are today, because we do listen to the judges through all of the years to try to continue to improve this process. Then we also have some judges that haven't served a sufficient period of time in office for us to evaluate them. We'll include information on their experience and education on our website. For example, there was sufficient time in the current position to evaluate Court of Appeals Judge Jacqueline R. Medina. And now I will move on to the district court judges. For the first judicial district, which includes Los Alamos, Rio Arriba, and Santa Fe counties, retain 5 district court judges: T. Glenn Ellington, Sylvia F. Lamar, Francis J. Matthew, Mary Marlowe Summer, and Matthew Justin Wilson. There was insufficient time to evaluate Jason C. Lydiard and Marie E. Sanchez Gagny. For the second judicial district, which includes Bernalillo County, retain 15 judges: Denise Barella Shepard, Beatrice J. Brickhouse, Clay Pace Campbell, Benjamin Chavez, Nancy J. Franchini, Alyssa Ann Hart, Gerard J. Lavelle, Cindy Leos, Jane C. Levy, Victor S. Lopez, Brent R. Lovelace, William E. Parnell, Deborah A. Ramirez, Marie Ward, and Stan Whitaker. There is 2 do not retains: Honorable Christina P. Aguirre and Jacqueline Dolores Flores. For the third judicial district, which includes Doña County, retain 6 district court judges: Honorable Manuel I. Arieta, Marcy Ellen Beyer, Douglas R. Driggers, James T. Martin, Conrad F. Perea, and Mary W. Rosner. There is 1 do not retain, and that is Judge Lisa Claire Schultz. There was insufficient time for Grace Duran. For the fourth judicial district, which includes Guadalupe, Mora, and San Miguel, retain judges Abigail Aragon and Gerald Edward Baca. For the fifth judicial district, which includes Chavez, Eddy, and Lee counties, retain Jane Schuler Gray, James M. Hudson, Dustin K. Hunter, Lee A. Kirksey, Lisa B. Riley, Mark T. Sanchez, and William G. Shoebridge. There was insufficient time to evaluate Michael Harold Stone. And now I will let Judge Hall announce the recommendations for the other judicial districts.
Thank you, Denise. So to turn to the remaining districts, for the 6th judicial district, which includes Grant, Luna, and Hidalgo counties, retain 2 district judges, Jennifer Ellen Delaney and Jared K. Hofackett. There has been insufficient time to evaluate Judge Thomas Stewart. For the 7th judicial district, which includes Catron, Sierra, Socorro, and Torrance counties, retain 3 district judges, Shannon L. Murdoch, Mercedes C. Murphy, and Matthew G. Reynolds. For the 8th judicial district, which includes Colfax, Taos, and Union counties, retain 1 district judge, Emilio Jacob Chavez. For the 9th judicial district, which includes Curry and Roosevelt counties, retain 5 district judges, Matthew Edward Chandler, Donna J. Maurer, David P. Reeb Jr., Drew D. Tatum, and Fred Travis Van Solen. For the 10th judicial district, which includes DeBaca, Harding, and Quay counties, retain 1 district judge, That's Judge Albert J. Mitchell, Jr. For the 11th Judicial District, which includes McKinley and San Juan counties, retain 5 district judges: Robert A. Aragon, Bradford J. Daly, Louis E. DePauli, Jr., Daleen Ann Marsh, and Karen L. Townsend. There's been insufficient time to evaluate Judge Sarah V. Weaver. For the 12th Judicial District, which includes Lincoln and Otero counties, retain 4 district judges: Stephen Edward Blankenship, Daniel A. Bryant, James Wayland Counts, and Angie K. Snyder. And last but not least, for the 13th Judicial District, which includes Cibola, Sandoval, and Valencia counties, retain 5 district judges: George P. Eichwald, Cheryl H. Johnson, Cindy M. Mercer, James Lawrence Sanchez, and Alan R. Smith. So that completes the recommendations from JPEC. I think at this time, we're willing to answer any questions that you may have.
Yes, and we have Brian Sanderoff and Brad Morrison also available to answer questions. And as you know, they're from research and polling.
Hi, Albuquerque, or the Albuquerque Journal. I have a question.
Yes.
This isn't for anybody specific, but can you tell me how these retain and do not retain categories compared to the past? Like, are there more do not retains than usual?
2 years ago, we had 4 do not retains, and so this year we have 3 do not retains. So it's fairly similar.
Right. And I had another question too concerning Christina Aguirre's do not retain recommendation.
Yes.
Can you tell me what where in 2015 there was an incident where she told someone in the court that they would be, quote unquote, someone's bitch if they were to continue on this path, going, or if, she were to send them to prison for robbery charges. How much influence did that have on her do not retain recommendation?
Well, things that, for example, that is not something that comes through JPEC. We review the surveys, we meet with the judges. We also will send to some of the judges that may be having some trouble, people to go view them and to come and tell us, report back how that judge is doing. If that person viewing happened to be there the day where she said that, that might be something that would be in the material, but I don't believe that that was specifically information that JPEC evaluated in our do not retain recommendation.
Right. And then if I may ask one more question.
Of course.
Do judges have an opportunity to improve their performance once they have a do not retain recommendation?
Well, we have interim evaluations, so we really do interview judges 2 times. In the interim evaluation, we go through really anything of concern in their evaluation, and we sometimes will have the judges draft a plan for improvement. Many times from the interim to the final evaluation, judges are able to turn things around. Sometimes they're just not able to, and we're here really to help the judges improve their performance. We want to see them improve. Some do and some don't, and in this case, sadly, she was unable to improve.
Right.
Hi, this is Mike Porter with KOB Channel 4. I have a question about what happens when a judge receives a do not retain for their final evaluation. Can they contest this? Is there anything that they can do if they don't agree with their final evaluation of do not retain?
Yes, sir. They have an opportunity to meet with the commission again. Most judges who get a do not retain vote opt to come and visit with us again, and they're welcome to share things they believe that they have done differently since we last met with them. And we do listen. For the three that we voted do not retain, I believe 2 came before the commission again.
And I have one more question about how much this factors into whether or not a judge is reelected. Do you have any information about how many times a judge is reelected or not reelected when they receive a do not retain evaluation?
That information is available to us. There have been times in the past where the commission has voted do not retain, and the voters, who are the ultimate decision maker regarding judges in New Mexico, have decided to give them another chance. When they get reelected, the commission is very happy to work with those judges to continue to improve their performance. And we've seen that happen.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you all very much for coming. I believe we have one more slide that Patty could put up, and it's mainly information on how voters can obtain information. If you don't have a computer where you can look at this information, you can actually call 1-800-687-3417. Anyone who has access to a smartphone or a tablet or a computer can look up almost everything that we've talked about on our website, www.nmjpec.org. Thank you, all of you, for attending. For those commission members that were able to show up today, thank you. We couldn't do this without you. Patty, thank you. Dana, Brian Sanderoff, Brian Morrison. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, and I will be emailing a press release out to all the media following this news conference. So Kai, you should be getting something from the general newsroom email, or you can contact me if you need more information.
Great, thank you so much.
Same thing for you, Anthony. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Take care, everyone. Thank you, Denise.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.